looking good, looking good. Let's go do this. We should have done it beforehand, but whatever. Whatever, man. All right, do that guy. There, boom, 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 boom. Okay. You guys are looking fantastic. I'm going to show you literally every single step. I'm going to tell you how we did this, right, on our 16 by 20 inch canvas. I'm going to show you exactly what we did, and it's all dry. So I'm going to show you all the stuff that we're going to need to do in order to make it look gorgeous. All right, just the gorgeousity of it all is going to be fantastic. Let's go like this. Get that guy. So I took my Liquitex black gesso and I blacked out this entire bottom area, just about, I'd say about 2 handfuls worth. So maybe 4 to 8 inches worth of coverage along the bottom, along this straight line. And then I just made some very indistinct, far away tree trunks, some all the way from the top and bottom, some not. You know, we're gonna end up covering over a lot of them anyway. Then I let all that dry, right, until it came time to paint this paint. Now we're going to use our Bob Ross liquid clear in the black section. All along in the black section, our liquid clear. We're going to use our liquid white, which is the sister product. It does the same thing, just in the white portion of the canvas, and we're going to cover some of these trees. So be sure that you let your acrylic paint dry before you do the oils over the top. I'm just telling you, you don't want it to be wet. It's going to cause you an issue. So you guys got to check in. Tell me where you're watching from. What time is it? Where you are right now? Ooh, I don't want to do white first. Across the world. Just tell me where you're from. Doesn't matter if you're watching it live or if you're watching it later on, 10 years down the road. Tell me where you're watching from. Let's see over here. We're going to dip into our liquid clear, and man, we do not need a lot. Boy, oh boy, because we don't have a full canvas to cover, right? We just need a little bit. And then we're probably going to have to wipe off all the excess because being such a small area, we probably got too much of it onto our brush, right? You do not want it to feel sticky. That's going to mean that you have too much paint, right? If you're going like this and it's real hard for it to slide across, and then you really want to spread it with as much force as you possibly can, right? Your easel at home is probably going to be shaking from side to side. Mine is literally screwed into the ceiling, so it can't move, right? So if mine looks like it's very secure, it's because it is very secure, right? Yours should be rocking back and forth. You should be having to hold it on the side because you have to use a lot of force, right? That pressure. It's our number 2P of Paint with Josh for a reason, okay? We can even, if we want to be fancy, we can take that clear and go up our tree trunks like that, just in the tree trunky area, and you don't need a lot of paint on the brush. I'm telling you, it's going to get covered anyway with our liquid white. Bang, just like that. Very cool. Very soft. Spread it out until it's as thin as physically possible, and then you come back with some paper towels. I use the Viva brand ones. They seem to be the nicest. They're real soft ones, you know what I mean? What you would think they would grip and like get stuck to the can, but they really don't. Look at that. Woo! Love these paper towels. Over there, over there. Somebody call Viva. Give me a sponsorship over there. Bang! Right? Wiping off all the bottom color from my last painting. I did a class earlier today. It was a whole lot of fun. Did a big old ocean scene. You guys know me, I love my ocean scene. Now, what we're gonna do is get out some of our dioxazine purple. I already have blue, crimson, and black, and white. We may use the brown color just a little bit, maybe, maybe not. So we'll decide by the time we get there. In the meantime, what color did I, oh, purple, purple, purple. There we go. This is the dioxazine purple from Gamblin. That's the brand, Gamblin 1980. Dioxazine purple. And it's one of my favorite colors. It's very deep and dark, right? And almost semi-transparent for how dark it is. If you put on too much, it will really cover over a lot of stuff. Now, we're really only going to be using it for our highlights anyway. And now we're going to put our liquid white on the top section, right? Because we still have a dry canvas over here. So we need to put our liquid white in the top. It's going to cover over the black trees. That's okay. All right? We don't have to wash the brush. I just dab it off on a paper towel. You don't have to wash it every single time. Little bit of our liquid white. It's always too much. Always dip it in too much. We just need a little bit of it. We don't need too much onto the brush or too crazy of paint filling up all the bristles. We're going to start dropping it on, kind of dump it into that white area, right, maybe from this side. And we're just going to work it back and forth. And I'm telling you, the trees are going to disappear underneath that white, right? Bang, just like that. fabulous. It's going to make them look further and further and further away. The more white that covers those trees, the more distant they're going to look. And it's a good indicator of how much liquid white we actually want on the canvas at any moment, whether we're doing a white canvas or a canvas that has our black gesso trees on it. We obviously don't want to go down into this area with this paint. You want to be right along the edge, along the bottom. Doesn't even matter if you get all the way down, because we're going to come up, we're going to have like a little hill that's leading down from these trees anyway. But that's about a good amount of our liquid white. You don't have too much, you don't have too little, and I'm going to show you how to test it. So even if you can't tell by looking at yours and looking at this one, right, we're going to test it and show you how to do it. So over here, over there, it doesn't even matter if you put it into a black part of the canvas or what. You can even see my little fingerprint, right? This is what it should look like. Perfect, perfect, perfect. We got just enough paint on the tips. You can see all the little dimples inside the canvas, which is perfect amount, right? We'll blend our fingerprints back out. There we go, just like that. Now, we're gonna do a nice cold little blue little winter scene. It's gonna be fantastic, so I hope you're ready to get chilly. It is so hot here in Oregon, and I sound like a baby because I'm from Las Vegas, or at least I lived there for 35 years, and it's hot in Las Vegas, right? Up here in Oregon, it's like 94 degrees. I feel like I'm gonna melt outside. So let's paint an ice cold winter scene because of how hot it is outside. Maybe we can escape to the winter, right? We'll take a little bit of our ultramarine blue or phthalo blue, both kind of the same. The more you put onto the canvas, the more we're gonna end up covering those trees, right? So if you have too much on your brush, you can end up covering a lot of stuff and losing those trees, in which case we're gonna go back and brighten it anyway, but you can see just how heavy it is up there versus how light it is down here. All we're trying to do is dump some color onto the canvas, cover your edges, because it always makes it look more finished and more neat anyway. If you cover the sides, around the top, you always do the top at the very end, you gotta unscrew it out of the easel. There we go, just like that. Don't wanna have it be too dark down here, a little bit lighter. Actually, you know what? Let's go darker down here. Let's go more paint in this area. Be a little bit dark, and then we're gonna add a little bit of our purple too, and then I'm gonna add white up here and brighten that out, right? Leave a big old spot. It's gonna look like some faraway clouds in our sky. Just trust the process, I'm telling you. I wouldn't lead you astray. Okay, now let's go into that dioxazine purple. You can see the very small pile of it compared to the large piles of paint that we're gonna be using, and we'll probably need more actually on this one. But very small amount of the purple, because it's very dark, it's gonna grow, and you don't need a whole lot of it, right? Let's pop some of that down in there. Just like that. Toss it in from the backside. Now remember, the more purple you add, the harder it's gonna be to see our trees, so let's not do too much. Now let's go wash this brush out, and we'll see what we can do. Let's see what it's gonna look like when we mix it up. Now, I wash the brushes in our odorless mineral spirits. You can find it at like Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever. Ace Hardware, your local hardware store should have some odorless mineral spirits. I put it in a paint can with a little screen at the bottom, and I'll show you what it looks like. Hang on. It's very dirty right now, but there's my little screen at the bottom, inside my little paint can. Obviously, you want your odorless mineral spirit level to be higher than the screen. In this case, I'll show you what it actually looks like. This is the stuff that we like to use. And I'm gonna need to get some out and put it into my little can here. Here's one more trick I'm gonna show you. Have you ever tried to pour anything out of this? Your brain wants you to do it like that because that's where the spout is, but it will start to glug and like spit. So here's a trick for you might not know. Maybe you already know it. Pour it from the top, just like that, and then it won't glug out, right? It'll pour much more smoothly if you're pouring it above, because it's catching all the air back in here before it spits it out, right? Very cool. Took me a while to learn that one, so maybe you know it, maybe you don't, but pour it from the top, and it'll pour much more smoothly. Now we've got our clean dry brush. We're gonna come back onto the canvas with the clean dry brush. Remember, every single one of these tutorials is live, right? We don't cut anything out of these. I show you literally every single step live on camera. Okay, we're gonna come up in here and let's start to blend. Get some of that blue paint to grow down, and we'll come over here and cover this little area real quick. All right, get our purple paint to kind of grow that way, all depending on how much we're pushing on it. Just little crisscross strokes. Don't even pick your brush up. All right, just constant pressure against the canvas. Little crisscrossies here and there and everywhere. Not trying to blend all the purple out of everything. Right? Leave some stuff. Leave some differences out there. You don't need to leave streaks, but leave some patches at least of some color and kind of blend them around. Bang, really cool thing. See, I told you that was gonna look like a cloud out there anyway. We didn't even do anything. And all of a sudden we already have some depth and some distance back there, right? Very cool. Remember, if you're watching on the tube, just give me the thumbs up button. Gotta hit that like button over there. It tells the tube to send it out to more people, right? Now, we've got a fair amount of bluish, but if we come over here and we dab off that paint, instead of having to wash it every time, we just kind of really vigorously smash it on a paper towel. You see how most of that blue's already disappeared off the brush? Now what we're gonna do is come in and grab some of our titanium white. Now you can either do it like I do it, where you kind of grip the top of the paint, pull it down, right, and start to create a little runway to load your brush. Or the easier way to do it, right, is take your palette tool and flatten out an area like that. Okay? That way, that was a perfect toss, right back into position. I wish that was on camera. Right over here, take a little bit of our white, and you can pull it down, loading it onto our brush, and let's go up into the top, and let's really make it bright up here, right? It's gonna wanna mix away very quickly, so we're gonna need more white paint. And the more white that we put up there, the more bright it's gonna be, making it like a light source in the sky, right? You want it to be very bright. Now we're gonna take, again, one more load of paint. Let's take this guy, maybe from right there, and just go, right? Just shoot some of that white paint down through there. Blend it out, but don't overdo it. Leave a little streak of light coming down. Right? The more we blend it away, the more it's going to disappear with all those other colors. So let's leave it out there. Hey, I like it. I like it. It's just a beam, like, right down into the scene, you guys. Okay. Let's go wash off this brush one more time, because now it's got a lot of white paint on it, and we might use it down here, in which case we don't want a lot of white paint on it. Man, that one's looking cute already, guys. Nice. Oh, I like it. Very cool. Dig it, I dig it, I dig it. Okay. Now, the more you mix it, especially we missed a little spot over here, the more you mix that paint back and forth, the softer and softer and softer it's gonna get. Right? So you're deciding how you want it to look each time that you go to do one. Now, let's come back over here. Let's get our clean dry brush, and we need to start laying down some color underneath our black, right? We've got our black canvas down there that's wet with the liquid clear, right? Be very specific. Liquid clear is over a black canvas, okay? It is not black oil paint. It's not black acrylic paint. Well, not wet black acrylic paint anyway. Right? It is a dry patch of already done black gesso paint that has a clear medium over the top, which makes it slippery versus dry, right? So what we need to do is cover this with our transparent colors, and we need to decide if we want to have a little pond. Maybe we want to have something kind of leading down, and then maybe there's a little river down here, a little pond, or some sort of water down around the bottom. So in order to show that, we need to have some color there. So let's get a little bit of blue, and I'm not talking about a lot, right? Little bit, probably the same amount that it took to do our whole sky, and we'll just pop in just a little old patch of bluery, just right there. Kind of starting from a little higher, working down to a little lower, right? A little downward angle that way. Because it didn't stretch all the way, I'm gonna get a little bit more. We don't want to have any white paint or any bright color mixed with that blue. It's supposed to look very dark down there on our canvas. Oh, what if we had, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, guys. We're gonna have like a little blue river running through, and then maybe we'll have something down here in the front, some bushes or something. So let's add that blue, just so we can have it interact with our white paint. That's all we're ever trying to do. Okay, we make a little, we could, but we'll figure it out when we get there. I don't want to put too much blue up into here, right? Because the more blue that gets up into this zone, the bluer our snow is going to be, meaning we're going to need more white paint in order to keep it bright. So why don't we keep that area very much less covered, right? I want to go over it a little bit, but I do not want it to even have as much paint on there as this does down here. Very, very, very light color. That way our white won't have too much blue to intermix with. Now, let's go grab a 1-inch brush, because it makes it easier to do our whole thingamajig if we have a smaller space out there, right? So with our 1-inch brush, we know we've got a little bit of blue in there, so I'm gonna get a little bit of white. I'm gonna take a big leap of faith right here and hope that there's enough blue underneath that this isn't just pure white on the Paint with Josh brush. Right? So here we go. We know we gotta start up a little higher. So if we pop in, start guiding it down, right? We're in control of what it looks like. You have to bend the brush, you've gotta turn it. You're picking it, oh, there's that blue. See that blue in there? You're deciding how bright it gets and what the lay of the land is going to be as well. Remember, we're going to be covering up everything behind here. We're just kind of laying out what we want our land to look like. It's got to get down. It's got to get lower over here, right? Ending in a lower space. Having that, oh, look at that. That is fantastic, right? Now, we can take it and push on it and make it as bright as we want. Get that white right up to the edge of our little horizon back there, but I don't want it to come down too far. Because remember, we want to have some form of water or something that's happening back there. Look at the differences too. That dark patch right behind a light patch indicates that it's dropped down another level, right? If everything is the same amount of white paint, nothing is going to stand out. Okay, I'm telling you, just as a friend, you cannot put every bit all the same. If you wanted to have a place, maybe now that we see that, let's accentuate it with a little bit more brightness, and then have that dark place underneath, right? We're gonna have a whole big cabin that lays on top of this guy anyway. So it's all up to us and what we want it to look like every time that we go to do it. And you don't have to fill every place the exact same amount. That's the best part about it, right? Now, let's go start throwing in some trees and such. We already know. Right, we already know where our river sits, so if we got a little bit of our liquid white and our cadmium white down there, we grab that up and we scooped up just a good amount of it. Okay, came underneath because it's going to grow. Go underneath. This is supposed to look messy. Okay, it's supposed to look that way. Messy, 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 messy. Almost looks like ice. If we did the whole thing, it might look like a frozen section of river. Right? But here's why it's supposed to look messy. We're going to come in here like this. We're going to start to pull it down just a little bit. And the more we go, the more we're going to pull it down just a little bit, and down just a little bit, and down just a little bit. And then you'll be able to see that water, right? You might see a waterfall until you take them all. You can pull them away from your land area. Take them all and turn them into those horizontal streaky poos that we talk about all the time. Now all of a sudden, you got this light bit of light coming down onto something. We're going to bring this guy closer, obviously. We don't have to worry about it until we start coming up with our foreground. Right? So in order to start coming up with some foreground and making things look closer than this far away little thing back here, we're going to mix up 3 of our colors. Very small amount of black, right? Very small amount. Much larger amount of crimson. You can tell just by the size of the pile. Look at the chunk on that guy. Much larger amount of blue. Equal crimson will make purple, right? And then that black is going to make that purple color turn it purplish black, which we call Paint with Josh black. You have to put a lot of emphasis, like when you're saying Harry Potter, you have to put a lot of emphasis in the P. Black. You just got to. That's just how we do it, right? A little bit of our darkness, right? Now this dark color is going to stand out as being closer than anything out there because this has all been washed over with light, right? So those look further away in the distance. This is going to immediately look closer. As we grab our paint, we're going to wiggle it down like this. Wiggle it onto the brush. Right? The more that we wiggle it, the more sharp it's going to make that. Look at that guy. Oh, I can't even turn that far. Sharpness, very thin, right? You can see it vertically. It almost disappears. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to decide maybe right out here in this open area, but not right in the center, because that's kind of weird if it's just right in the center of the opening. Let's move it over just a touch. We're going to come way up here, not all the way, but way up there. Very light. Right? How big do you want your trunk to be? You want to push in a little bit more as it gets down here? You can decide that. We're going to wiggle down again. Wiggle down again. Wiggle down again. Let's come off of this guy. Very, very, very small taps on the corner. All right, so we're kind of pushing in, pushing in, pushing in. The more you come down, the more you have to start pushing in. Right, so we push a little harder. Made one branch go off to that side, so now let's angle the brush the other way and push, make a branch go off that side. Right, they don't all have to be the sharpest thing. Pop them out, and if you start getting weird and random with them, right, and having little things project out of branches in different places, it looks more real.
right? That's the cool part about it. Whole thing. Try to stay out of your way as much as I can, right? We're gonna start tapping out, right? And we'll work down, 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 making this little Z shape of a tree, right? And then you decide how much you want to fill it. Down that one, pop out over here. You want to have a little branch, you want to have a thing. What do you want it to be? You want it to be thick? Do you want it to be full? Do you not want to be able to see through it? Do you want to be able to see through some areas? You definitely don't want to see through the center. So at any moment, make sure that center is fully blocked out. That's where the trunk would be and everything else. And if you don't cover up everything, right? Oh, isn't that so cool? I already love this little guy. He's so cute. Look at him. Look at him out there. Woo! Okay. Now we're going to take our 1-inch brush. We're going to come over here. We're going to start to drag out a little bit of his color back in there. And then we can go cover it up with some more white paint by the time we get done. But just like that. Oh, look at him. He is fantastic. Should we highlight this guy first? Or should we put the rest of our little details in and then come back and highlight him at the end? You guys tell me.
You guys tell me what we should do. At the top of the tree and a bear at the bottom. That'd be funny. That would make it a giant tree, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be a big old tree? Should we do the highlights first or should we put them on at the end? Some people say now, some people say later. Highlight later, highlight now, at the end, more trees. Like, nobody can decide, so I'm gonna decide for you guys, okay? This is what we're gonna do, just to show you, just to keep you entertained and being like, man, if he can do one that look that good, I wonder what the rest of the painting is gonna be like. So let's switch to a much smaller brush. The bristles make a big difference, right? Here's our brush we made to create the tree. Here's the brush I want to use to highlight the tree. You can almost fit 2.5 of them in there, right? We're gonna use a very small amount of our liquid white paint. And when you load the brush, it's very important not to go too far up towards the squeezy bit. Does anybody know what this piece is called? That like actually holds the bristles in? I forget, I call it the squeezy bit all the time. So we're gonna take that, we're gonna come over here, and again, we're not gonna try to load the whole brush. So we're just gonna try to tap into it until that white starts turning purple. And once we get all that white to turn purple, and not have it climb all the way up the stinking brush, right? And then it's gonna be just right to get over there onto our tree. Now, I've mushed it enough to where we've sort of lost the wetness in the brush, okay? So what we're gonna do is one more small little bit of liquid white into there, just tapping into it, right there, right? Now it's all kind of mushy and goopy. That way it's gonna come off of our brush much easier. We're gonna tap onto the tree, turn the brush on the side, sometimes twisting it towards the thing. See how the tip is out here? And we can twist it toward, we can either touch it like this, or we can touch it like flat, or we can push it out there. Each one makes a different shape, right? So as you get out here, it's very light along the top first, not trying to cover every piece, just trying to tap on a couple little bits of brighter purple over that darker black stuff, right? And the more that you put on in certain areas, right, and clump it together, the less you're gonna like it. Right? So if you can spread it apart, keep it sort of untouched in certain areas, bright in certain areas, dark in certain areas, you're gonna like it more than me, right? If you end up covering all those dark spots and it's just all purple and there's no darkness in between, you are not gonna like it, right? I'm gonna come over here with a little bit of the same amount of liquid white over into our titanium white. The liquid white is gonna make the titanium white wet enough to come off of the brush. You do not want to use just pure liquid white when you're doing these. It's too wet. It'll come off too easily and glob on too much. Stay along the outside first. So we're coming back here, we come out and then we go back, and we go out and then we go back. And it's constantly tapping at a very quick movement, right? We're just doing this, that's it. Hitting the brush, or hitting the tree with just the corner of the brush. You can see it. Just the top corner right there. We haven't even contacted the whole brush yet on the one side, and we've gotten more than halfway down the tree off of just the top corner. That's how lightly we're pushing onto it. And now, the more I go down, because it's coming off of the top of the brush, I have to rotate it. So now we're gonna be using this corner, turn toward the tree that way. In which case, be careful, because it's gonna drop off a whole 10 ton of white on your very first go. All right, smack it, schmack it.
catch a little light, save the purple, save the dark, right? Don't cover all the darkness. Because if you cover all the darkness, you're gonna have a flat tree, right? So there was a big patch, I've shrunk it about half, and I like it more. Right, over here, little bit. There, that's in the shadow, leave it. Leave all these little things. They're fantastic. Don't you dare go back and touch it too much. There, one little thing, see? One little bit. Boop, 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 boop. You're kind of like leaving little pockets of snow, little patches of light where it's been caught. And if we touch it too much, man alive, we are not gonna like it, so stop it. You just quit it out there. You get a little bit of that liquid white, very small amount with the titanium white, right? It's not just one or the other. Come out here and touch on the one side, not even more than halfway. If you do it more than halfway, don't come talk to me. I told you not to do that. Come over here, a little of the liquid white and the dioxazine purple. Come back here. Same two colors that we use to highlight our sides, right? Our branches, our bristles, our spruce boughs, whatever you want to call them. Same thing on either side of our trunk. It's gonna make it look really cool. It seems like I'm missing just a couple little bits of purple down there. Just a couple. We don't want to do too many, remember. You do too many, you don't like it. If you don't like those ones, you go back over it with your dark brush. Get that darkness back in there. Right? All things are possible, guys. Literally all things are possible with the Paint with Josh show. We love to have fun out here, right? Let's take a little touch of that titanium white. Try not to get any liquid white with it. Come up in here, grab it. There. Throw some of that right down here. We can even bring it further and further and further and further down, shrinking that little gap that's in between, right? Because not everything out there is just going to be perfect. And let's make it flatter. There. Less of a diagonal, more of a U shape will give us more of a place that we can walk down, right? Now we're going to take the rest of this darkness, and I'm going to let you guys decide. Should we put a cabin in there? Or should we do one more, maybe a couple bushes, and then we'll do a big old tree? We're doing a big tree right here, right? About as big as my hand is on the top. So we're gonna have foliage coming out about that far. Just about literally like that. And maybe one little bit right in here on our big tree trunk that's gonna sit down in the front. So we did this did this painting in a tutorial, on a TikTok live. And I figured, man, I don't have a tutorial for it, so let's make a tutorial for it over on the tube, which is why we're doing it today. So let's throw a cabin in, right? We'll take a little bit of our dark paint, that mix of our three favorite colors, the blue, the crimson, the black, all the stuff. Fantabulous over there. Bang, okay. Now, in order to make a cabin, right? Depending on how big this tree is, right? If we made our cabin, and it was way the heck down here, and this little guy, and he was just kind of hiding underneath that tree, sure, it's gonna make the tree look enormous. Actually, that might look really cool. The bigger that you make your cabin, the less impressive this tree is gonna look, right? So why not? That's a really good idea. Let's do a small little guy, a little small little guy. Right? We're gonna pull down on this dark paint. There's really not a way to mess this up unless you are not looking at this angle right here, this flat edge on the edge of the blade, right? This guy. If you can't see the edge, look where the handle is. If the handle's down here, the edge is very vertical. If the handle's over here, the edge is very flat, right? So keep an eye on that because that's going to be the pitch of our house, right? This little angle right there, and then we're going to turn it over, and this little angle right there, right? You can already see making a little peak of a little house or a cabin or something that's living out there. So what we're going to do is scrape up our darkness. We're going to come up right to the peak, and we're going to push down hard. You want to flatten it down. Bring it down further than you think you need to because you can always brush out the bottom, okay? Come over here. Let's make this guy 1.5 on this side. Just like that. Got a little peak to our house. Turn the blade. We're going to do 2 full ones on this side. Pulling it straight down. Trying to mush on that paint. Just worried about this angle alone, and that's it. Kind of looks like a little outhouse right now. All right, so let me show you. We did 1.5, excuse me, on this side. So we got 1, and then you have that overhanging extra half bit. This one, we're going to do 2 full ones. We're going to come out to the edge, match the angle, push it down, just like so. Literally, don't have to do much more than that. Okay? If you want, you can get a little teeny tiny touch of paint and go off the side like that. Get a little pitch of your roof. All right? Here's where a lot of people mess up. They do not angle the roof enough for me anyway. You definitely do not want to continue going up this way, right? If you're going up on this line and making this diagonal up into the sky, you're going the wrong way, okay? You want to be tilting it downwards or at least flat, right? But less than that, down, right? Making a downward angle so it's not continuing straight up the thing, right? This side we're going to end up pulling down twice with our dark paint. Come up here, just pull down twice, that's it. And then all you have to do is connect that little line right over here, right? Not even with too much paint, and you got yourself a little roof. See that little slope like that? It just helps. I'm telling you, it helps. I'm telling you. Now let's get rid of this dark paint in here. Literally scrape it off. Just in the roof section. That way my white will stay a bit brighter white and not have so much paint to mix with, right? You can very easily tell if you do not have enough paint to cover your background acrylic, because you'll be able to see right through it, right? So make sure you got enough paint out here on our little cabin. I like him. He's just a little old guy. Oh, he's just small, right? Over here, remember, pull it down further than we think. Josh, you said pull it down further than you think. I know I did. I know. There, right? Make sure it comes down this way and goes up this way, and then we're going to shrink it back to wherever we want it to be. Doesn't have to be perfect, but make sure you've got this, right? We're talking about angles right here. This angle coming down. Hang on, right there. Downward. And we're going upward. Right? We're making a little V shape with our cap. That's going to help make it look more 3D. Now we're going to clean up the bottom in a second. We're going to come back here with our titanium white. Very thick paint, right? You can see it's casting its own shadow onto itself with how thick the paint is. Wipe it off, come back there, scoop up a good amount, attach, right? And then smear, just like that. Okay, we're gonna come over here again, wipe off the blade so I can show you. Pulling out the paint, lots of it, right? Bang, lots of paint right there. Wipe this guy off. Come in here, remove a section, so now you can see there's a big glob or a big roll of that paint out on the edge. Come up and attach, smear, stop, you know what I mean? Smear it, pull away. Don't do too many things, because the more that you touch it, the more it's going to intermix with that black color, right? You need it to be bright. There we go, right there, right there, right? You can have little patches, or you can fill it in so much that it is just caked onto the roof, right? Now, back here, where that empty patch is, in my mind, maybe there's a little warm area, perhaps. There was one before the guy dipped out on this abandoned cabin. So maybe we take the small edge of the blade, we turn it towards the canvas like this, touch it. Just make it project a little bit above the roof, just a little. And you got yourself a little stovepipe chimney something or other back there. I like him. He's a cutie back there. Look at him. A little white. There we go. There we go. Gorgeous. Okay? Now you have to have one small touch of white kind of riding on the top of your other bit of roof. Just a little bit, just to show, right? We never see the back side of the roof or anything like that. So you don't have to paint all this on the other side. It's just one little bit of white, okay? Now we can come up here, and actually let's do our highlights first. I told you we were going to use those brown colors. Didn't I tell you we were going to use those brown colors? So let's get our dark sienna brown and our Van Dyke brown in equal parts. Right? Mix them up. Right over there. They're really dark brown, okay? This very dark brown color of these two colors mixed together is going to be the back side of our cabin. So we're going to come up underneath the snow, push it. Right? We're not trying to push it hard. We're just trying to push it with enough pressure that it kind of smears. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's see. Same thing with this guy. Right? Let's use the white on my black palette as an example. Okay, so if I was going to come up there and just barely touch it and let it break, right, like that, that's what our cabin walls would look like. I don't want them to look like that. I want to come up here with that paint, right, and I want to push on it so it smears it down like that, right, where you have this flat thing that's not broken. It just requires more pressure, okay? So we're going to be doing that with the brown color that's going to reside on the front. We're going to use this white paint that we just got. We're going to brighten up this brown color. And we're not going to make it too bright, right? Like that's too bright. It's too bright brown. So we may have had too much white in our pile. So let's add some more of that dark brown. And let's mix it down until you feel like it's a good brown color, right? And that way, just like that, we can even take, ooh, no, you know what, I'm going to keep it limited. We can use this one right here, right? So you got this lighter color brown versus our dark one. We're going to scrape up some of that paint. We're gonna come up underneath and leave a little section of dark underneath there, and then smear, right? You want it to smear down. You want it to do that because you're gonna get those wood grain lines where you have these differences in there, okay? Very cool. Remember, always paint it a little bit brighter than you think you need to because it's gonna get darker as the paint dulls over time. It will get darker. There. Right, now we got this little house catching some light. We got our dark side on the back. And if it's too dark now, right, let's add a little bit of that brightness, just enough. There, just a little bit. So we can see we're catching some light up here. We can see the front of our house, and everything's gravy. Now we got to talk about this angle that I was telling you about, right? We have to come down at these certain angles and catch things. And how's our guy gonna get into his house? How's he gonna get in, Josh? We're gonna take our palette tool, scrape it, and remove the paint, right? In a big enough shape that you feel could be a door, right? Just remove that dark paint out there. Again, you decide how you want yours to look. We can take that plaque mix and literally deposit it into that section. Now all of a sudden you got this little empty doorway, which may need to get just a bit taller. Come up a little higher. There, just a little bit. So remember, we're gonna take away the bottom. I some of the times forget that by the time you take all that paint and wipe it away, you're gonna have like the little teeniest, tiniest little doorway. So same thing we could do over here. You can remove a small little section, however much you want it to be. Doesn't have to be anything. You don't even have to have any windows or anything or holes or anything. It's up to you, literally. Either way. Drop it in like that. Got your little house. And it might look a little funky until we come back here and we shape it, right? We're gonna take away the paint at a downward angle. Now we gotta go at an upward angle, so we're pulling it higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, making it look however we want it to look. But doesn't that look a little bit more three-dimensional now? That you have that downward angle into an upward angle, you can make sure or take away or do whatever you need it to look like in order for yours to look right. Very cool. Very, very cool. Now I'm gonna take a bit more of my titanium white onto the 1 inch, come up underneath this guy, and we're gonna have to brighten it back up because we pulled out all that dark paint. Let's brighten it. Remember, rounded down here and then back up. Give you the effect, the idea anyway that you could walk right back up through there, get to the horizon. Very cool. Right? The more paint that we push on here, push down, starting from ending at the same spot, but starting from a different place over here. The more you go down, the more you get down close to that little bit of water. We want to leave a very small little separation of space, a little bit of darkness down there, so nothing is all down there touching. Very cool, guys. I want to live here. Does anybody else want to live out here? As I drop the brush right on the floor. Anyone else want to live out here? I do.
I sure do. Very cool. Right, out there. Sometimes you pick up a little bit of
something or other, and you drop it down some other place, and you get a little shadow, or you get a bit of brightness, and you do whatever you want. Right? It's all up to us. Very cool. Now, let's add our big bit of tree up here in the front. And I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you think, just do you think, I'm just asking. Actually, you know what? Let's hop in, because we don't have enough paint to make our big giant tree, so what's the point of even asking? Let's pop in some bushes that might live around the base of that house. I'm just going to take my Paint with Josh round brush. I'm going to tap it in on the side. Right? That way it's not going to be too big, and I can come up here, and I can start dropping in little things and changing little bits, cover my corner of my house with a little bit of bush, whatever it is, a bit of dark or something or other, that we can then throw some highlights on the top. Let's do the same thing, literally just the corner, the side of the brush, maybe off of this guy, turn it on the side so we get a little bit of height, and turn it, and turn it, and turn it again. Each time you do something, it's up to you how you want it to look. Maybe we got a little bit underneath that tree. Oh, guys, right? What if we had this little guy who's trying to climb down here, all these little bits? So now there's literally only one way to get in and out of Guy's house back there. Little bits down here, swipe away some of them, back and back and back. It'll help feed into our shadows and different things back there. Okay, we're always going to go over and highlight it anyway. This little guy, pull it from different areas, again, from an angle down to an angle up. It's going to help it make it look more round. You can do whatever you want to do out there. All right, let's get a little touch of our liquid white. Liquid white is so much fun. A little touch of our dioxazine purple. I told you don't need much. Probably use that little pile right there. One little pop, right there. One little pop off of this guy. He's in the shadows back there. Maybe one down there, and then we go back and hit it with some white. You got it. So watch the brush off. And get ready to see a cool little bush just pop out of nowhere. And it's going to be a good time. Now, we use the Paint with Josh round brush to make the shapes. We're going to use the Bob Ross oval brush to make the highlight on top of those shapes, right? So it's not all the same shape of the same brush all the time. Liquid white into our titanium white, kind of up into the pile to get some of that goopy stuff to turn a little bit brighter. Little touch, bam. One little thing, right? You don't want to cover over too much. You don't want to be perfectly straight, so there's a couple that are over here. Bang. One little touch, one touch. Okay, 3 touches, bang, just like that. Get your little bushes, leave the shadows, don't do too much. I'm telling you, don't do too much. If you do too much, you're not gonna like it. Now, let's come back over here. Let's add something on the side, this giant, enormous tree. So we need to mix up a lot more of our 3 favorite colors. And can anyone out there tell me the 3 favorite color mix that it takes to make Paint with Josh black, the deepest and darkest of all dark colors? What do you think? There we go, gorgeous. Big old giant pile. What are those 3 colors that it takes to mix up my favorite mix of paint to use for most everything? You guys tell me. My little bushes are like dangling down into the water. It's so cute. Crimson, black, and blue. You guys are right. Thanks, Cosmic. Appreciate you. Cosmic's modding on both places. Much appreciate. Dig that. Like a little pathway to his house just because we added some bushes in the way, right? Now, we're going to take this, and don't you dare get mad at me, because we're going to make a big, giant tree trunk all the way down, sitting right over here, almost taking away this big guy right here, right? We'll come down like that. That's a monster. Oh, I didn't mean for it to be that big, but it just got that big. So, very cool. Remember to leave a big old space, because a tree this big is going to need help being held up, and so it's going to need some bushes underneath it. You know what I mean? You don't want to pull it just straight down into the guy. A little bit of flare out at the bottom will help make him look a little bit bigger. And now, all we're going to do is grab our liner brush, a little bit of our odorless mineral spirits, and a little bit of that plaque mix, right? So it's going to become very wet. Oops, dripping. It's already dripping. Very wet down there. We're going to launch off just a big old monster branch that goes out here, but you don't have to worry about what it looks like all too much, right? It's going to be covered by some foliage. It's going to be going up through there. So just one down there, maybe one up here, a little bit. Again, going to be covered. We're only going to see the very base of these branches. So right where they connect onto the tree and come out a little bit, it's about the only spot that we're going to be looking at them, right? This one over here, maybe we got one branch coming off that side or here. The only things we're really going to be noticing are these little branches that are coming out that got broken off, right? Not every branch gets to grow to fruition. So you have to have some in there that are going out, that got busted off all the way around, right? Now we're going to take an enormous pile of paint that we have. We're going to take the Paint with Josh bush brush, the round brush, and again, load it a very certain way, just kind of hitting the side of the brush, not necessarily the whole top, okay? Then we're going to come out here, holding it on the side where you got that flat edge, and we're going to start launching in little things, right? They're going to grow. They're going to get big. They're supposed to. They're literally supposed to. This one on top is supposed to grow even further, and if you can leave a little gap in between, then that's going to be perfect, okay? You can even cut across your trunk. If you think it's getting too big, cut across the trunk onto the other side. Literally, we're going to be doing it down here anyway. It doesn't matter, right? Come back over here, scoop it up, fill in that top area, but leave gaps so you can see it's a massive tree, okay? And this one being so massive means these ones are even taller because we can't even see the branches on those guys yet, right? So cool. Now, on our little guy down here, right, this little one, we'll pop on a couple little bits and cut across and leave just a chunk, literally like that, right? If you get out a little bit further, there, just a little point on the end. Doesn't have to be the same everywhere, right? Just a little bit of stuff on our tree. That's literally it. Now, we'll take the rest of that gunk. We're gonna come down here, leaving some spaces. We don't want to get all the way down onto the water. Just like that big old bunch of something down at the base of this tree. Then you can take here, a little bit, pulling it out, Pulling it out. Leaving some area for some snow. And of course, it's going to be pretty dark down there because we just have all that dark paint. So we're going to have to come back across it with our liquid white, maybe a little bit of our, excuse me, our titanium white, with maybe a little bit of liquid white. Maybe, not a whole lot. Just kind of throw it in there however you see it. You see it a certain way, put it in that way. I want to see how you see it, right? Now comes the highlight part. Should we do a purple-white highlight like on this guy, or should we do the brown on the tree on this guy because he's a little bit closer? What do you think? Tell me in the comments. We're going to have white snow on it, obviously, right? But should we do... Are you a professional? Well, yes, Jason Shorts. We are a professional. We do this for a living anyway, if that's what you mean. You want to see some brown on the tree? I think so too. I think so too. Just to help tie in our cabin, right? We got to have some brown. So we're going to mix up our two brown colors again. We need to have that dark brown base. Try to keep those guys up there. We may end up using that color too, just to help brighten them. Everything is possible. You can see how much more room I have. I cleaned off and scraped off, as best I could anyway, the residual paints, so we'd have some more room to do some mixing up here. Now that's probably not enough, but I'm going to show you anyway. Because we're going to be using our white as well, we don't need to have everything covered, and we can probably use some of that purple too. But let's take a little bit of that darker brown, scoop it up, and this is what's going to happen across this white area. I'm going to touch it, and it's going to leave a ridge of paint that you can actually feel, right? Because it's like a little suction cup. It'll get stuck to the canvas if we allow it to happen. All right, so let's come up here, mix it down, pull it off, come back, in between, right? We're gonna have that dark color, so we just need to tap against the literally tap against the canvas. It's going to leave a little suction cup, a little ridge of that very thick paint, and then you can come up here and tap on itself and squish it down a little bit, right? The more that you tap into this little guy, the more it's going to take away the texture. So if you want to leave some goopiness, you're going to be able to feel it by the time you get done, right? Oh, it's already looking cool. Already looking cool. Okay, we'll come up here, tap on just a little bit, staying on the left-hand side of the trunk, because you're going to want to be using your lighter color brown, which is almost too brown. Let's mix this guy up just a little bit more of that darkness. There. Yeah, perfect. The glare sometimes on my palette directly back into my eye makes it look much brighter as well. So we're going to scoop up this guy. Got our little roll of paint out here. Let's start. All right, we're going to tap very lightly and move. And then you'll be able to feel when the paint is actually off and when you don't have any more. Can you see? Look at that. Look at that for a little tree trunk, right? It just hit in the light. I like it. I like it. Tap this little guy off over here. Little things. We're not trying to cover everything because we know we're going to have to lay some white on the top of that trunk too. He's a frozen old little trunk. You're a grounded old bear. he's a grounded old little trunk over here. All right, so we've got our brown, we've got our lighter color brown. Now let's take a bit of that liquid white, titanium white, which we need, because if you just try to put the titanium white over the brown, you're just going to mix it up, right? If we have the liquid white, very, very small amount of it, very thin amount of it on the edge of the blade, and then we can come over here and we can just tap on little places where maybe we caught a little bit of snow, maybe in our trunk or somewhere. Little things, just literally like that. It gets stuck. It's stuck in there. It doesn't have to go all the way to the edge, doesn't have to go to the bottom. Remember to leave your darker spaces as well. Okay? And we'll come over here, tap onto this guy, very light. Not trying to fill everywhere with the white, right? We've already done that with our brown. We don't need to go any more. We're just trying to add a couple little highlights with the light white color over the two brown tones. Little bits, little bits, little bits. Bang. Little things, guys. Look at that for a terrific. Woo, baby, I like it. Perfection. Okay. That one is quite honestly stellar. Now we're going to go over here. We're going to take our liquid white and our purple. Right? You got to have that purple for our highlights. We've been doing purpley highlights. So that's what we're going to use. Got our purple, our liquid white. It's gorgeous. Out in there. All right, I'm going to turn the brush upside down and just going to kind of tap at certain areas, not lighting up every place. All right, if we light up everywhere, then it's not going to look right. It's going to look too weird because it's got too many highlights on it. We have to leave those darker spaces in there. right? If we don't leave the dark space, it's gonna look flat. Right? Even one right up underneath. Why not? Eventually, our brush will get dirty, right? It's going to pick up that darkness, and that's okay. Look at that, dude. Dude. Very cool. We just want to leave a little bit of it on there, okay? Now our goal is going to be not to overdo it with the white. Can we do that, guys? Can we make a promise to not overdo it with our white highlights? Can we just get a little liquid white on the brush and get it up into there? And can we just try not to make it too bright? So we come over here, tap off a couple of things, roll them back onto your shadows, but not too much. Not too much. Oh, look at it. It's fantastic. Oh, I just love it. Come out here like this. Tap, tap, tap. Not covering everything. And the fun part about it is we never even know what it's going to look like until we put it out there. And until we paint it, we're never going to understand or see what we can do unless you get out there and try something, guys. That's freaking cool. Okay, let's take, since we've got the liquid white already, right, and our titanium white mix, let's take and put some down on this little bush down here. And then we'll go with our last little touch of our purple paint that we can get. Just a little bit of this guy off the backside. Very neat. Very cool, guys. Very cool. How far do you want them to come down? Totally up to you. I usually like leaving myself just a little bit of an area to grab from. Just a little area. There, that's wicked cool. Now, man, that's a pretty little thing if you ask me. Come back in here and just start depositing little bits, just little things. Not all of them have to connect. Nothing out there has to do anything, really. Out here, over there, just kind of scraping the tool along, seeing what happens. Best part about these things is if you don't like them, you can literally take them away. Don't do anything that's too enormous. Too big is no fun. I can even cut some down through here, just to show that it's moving down in this direction. Very, very, very cool, guys. Very cool. Right? Am I right or am I wrong? You guys like this one? Fabulous. Now, let's add one more little thing right down here in our bottom corner. Since we've got enough of our black mix, we take our big old paint and Josh brush. Right? Let's get way up here. Way up there. There we go. Yeah, all that dark paint. It's just foul. Covering over areas we don't want to see. Very cool, guys. Very cool. I like it. Okay, we're going to need a little bit more of our purples from the old box. Since I went through the very last bit of that purple, we could do one big old stick that lives in here. We could do lots of stuff with this one, guys. Literally. What do you feel like doing? Because that's what you can do. This purple paint pile. I don't want to have any white in it when I'm going, like if I want it up here, I want it to be very, very, very dark purple. So we're going to wipe off that area. We're going to add more purple to it. And then go back and do some more highlights on these little guys. So remember, you can grab this one if you go to my website. You can find it. It's the very first thing you're going to see on there. It obviously doesn't have a photo yet because we just very much did it. You ever put rocks in the stream? Absolutely. Absolutely. You want to see some rocks? Check this out. Room for rocks. So you're talking about rocks that like project up like this? Watch this. Come on, guys. Big old projection. We need a lot of our dark mix of paint. Right? Project it up and we can change this whole look of this thing. Just like that. Drop in a whole crazy little thing. And then underneath we can do whatever we want. Literally, it does not make a difference. Take a little bit of our titanium white, a little bit of our purple color, or we can use our brown. We can use our darker brown color right off the back side. It's like darker brown. How big of these rocks do you want to have? We can make this whole thing, instead of being bushes, this whole thing can be a big old rock. Right? What do you feel like doing when you're making yours is the question. It's always the question. How do you see your one? Toss off this little thing, project some light up over here, pull it down onto this side, and you get this big old massive thing. Remember not to cover everywhere with the same amount, so don't connect those. Leave them. Leave it out there. Don't connect every bit. I'm telling you. Look at it. Ooh, good call. I like that. Good suggestion. Glad I saw that.
Man, right? Get that little thing out there. Both of you just do mind painting.
Some people paint along with us when we try to do it. Let's see if we grab a little touch of our titanium white mix and my big old head out of the way. Just there, just a little. Some little places on that rock might have caught just a little bit of snow with some form of highlight or something. And then if you don't like it, seriously, take it away. Get out of there, man. I like it, I like it, I like it. Okay, let's make this little bright spot at the bottom go away. We got our bushes back over here. We can even have overtake our little rock area again. I like that. Good idea. We'll mix it on this little side. There. Very cool. Okay, now, I feel like we gotta do something over here as well. Maybe we'll pop one more little bush or something on this side. Let's see what we're gonna look like if we come over here. All right, we're gonna take our liquid white, we're gonna go into our purple color, and then we're gonna have a lot of fun. Lots of fun, guys. Remember, you can grab this one if you go to my site and get it, right? So all of our lights back there, I'm imagining all the purple areas might be down here in the dark, in the shadows of it all, right? All these little things, just tapping on, trying not to make everything the same. That's all I'm really doing. Don't make everything exactly the same. Right? That's pretty much it. It's the whole goal when you're painting. If everything is the same, how are we going to be able to tell anything apart? Don't do everything the same. Right? Come over here. You guys are going to have to start coming up with a title for this painting too, because we're just about done with it now. Right? So start coming up with a title. Tell me what you might want to call this guy. Things we rotate the brush in different ways, right? Not every time you have to hit it with the same thing. We're constantly turning it back and forth, back and forth. Leading areas, lighter areas, darker areas, wherever areas you want to see areas in. You want to have some white something down there, then do it. It's up to you. Every time that you go to do a painting, it's up to you, right?
Oh, I like that. I like that, guys. That's cool. Brings it close. Pushes everything else in the distance. I like it. I like it. We may do one more thing. I gotta add a little bit more paint. This tutorial is gonna run a little bit long, but that's okay. We're gonna get a little bit more of our black, crimson, and blue. Make the last little thing. I'm thinking one more tree at least on this right-hand side. Now that we've got all this land that we're sitting on down here, right? One more little tree over there. Maybe, just maybe, we can pop up and just make that water there. Just kind of trail along the side, a little bit of bush down around the bottom. So while we're here, we might as well get these little guys right on the top. A couple little things, nothing too crazy. All right, we'll put our darker shadows underneath. So we'll go back, take our purple, down there like that, underneath the rock, just very lightly tapping it. Right? We don't need anything to be too wild and crazy. Now that we got all this darkness, should we put something right here? Something? No, I don't know. I kind of like it. I kind of like how it is. What do you guys think? I mean, sure, if we did another giant tree, it's going to help push it back. This one's so, hey!
That means I don't have to make the decision then. Woo! Woo! You guys! Boom! What a great sound that one is. I love it. So who grabbed it? I got to go double check now. Let's go see what's happening over here. Tim! Excellent. So Tim's got to be watching over on the tube, I would imagine. So Tim, you got to let me know, right, if we're going to have something up here in the front on the right, or if you want to leave it like it is now. Totally up to you. I'll let you decide. I love this little winter scene. Whew. Couple touches of brown with all that white and purple. Christmas in November. That's a cool title. That is a cool title, guys. I think leave it too, right? If anything, maybe one stick, like a liner brush stick coming out of this thing, like a weird little, you know what I mean? Like a weird little thing up there. And that's if Tim wants me to put it in. If not, we're going to leave it exactly how it is.
Get everybody going, leave it, leave it. Yes, makes you cooler in the hot summer, right? That's exactly why I did this one. Honestly, no place like home. I like that. I like that. Very cool, very cool. Broken branch, that'd be fun too. Or something just projecting from the side out. You know what I mean? Like something that lives over here that's reaching its way out into the painting. Right? It's got to be big enough, and I think I'm gonna leave it. I think I'm gonna leave it just how it is because it's just too pretty to mess with anymore. Look at that. It's literally too pretty to mess with anymore. What little tip-tappery right there. Bang. Right there. Okay. Let's see. Where's Tim at? Tim, where are you, man? I agree, too. All those little textury bits, our little branches and such. These cool little things that are out here. All of the good stuff out here in the night. Yeah, perfect. That's it. Leave it. I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it, Tim. Let's go out here and add our tree or our birds into the thing, and then we'll see if Tim picks a title. I think some of the times he lets me pick the title, or every time he lets me pick the title. I can't remember. So if somebody can remind me, that would be cool. We're gonna need a title for it no matter what. Let's put the bird. Ooh, should we just put them right here in that bright spot just to make everybody mad? It's either that bright spot or that bright spot up there. Let's go down here. Like they're flying in low. They're gonna be small. There's caca right there. Make them all different. Don't make them all fluttering the same. That makes them look strange, right? Different angles, different things, different starting points. Make them look different. That's cool. I like that. That's funny. I like it. Okay, you guys come up with a title with it. I'm going to title it because I don't think Tim is over there. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Okay, let's wash off this brush. You guys hit me with your titles, and then we'll get it all titled up, and I'll get it over in the drying section so we can get it out to Tim as soon as it's ready. I have a very similar one to this going out to Lynn Tuesday when my boxes show up. I'm waiting for my packaging to arrive so I can get paintings out the door. So anybody who's waiting on a painting, it's either already been sent out or I'm waiting on the packaging. That's the deal. Gotta have bubble wrapping boxes to send out paintings, right? Okay, so you guys hit me with your titles. I'm gonna go pick a title, and then hopefully we'll do it well enough that Tim will like our title. But you guys gotta hit me with them. So tell me what you think. You guys are the poets out here. I'm just a painter. Thank you, Cosmic. I appreciate you. How long do they take to dry? So about 7 to 10 days. Depends on the thickness of the paint, how, hot it is where you live. If it's real warm where you are, then it's gonna, dry faster. If it's not as warm where you are, or it's really wet where you live, then it's gonna take a little bit longer to do its thing. You know what I mean? So climate plays a big deal in the whole thing. Off the Grid, that's a cool one. I have a painting called Off the Grid, though, and it's actually a licensed painting that Diamond Art Club is using right now. And so by the way, if you like those diamond art things where you pick the diamonds and you put them in the painting, Diamond Art Club has 5 or 6 Paint with Josh kits now. So if you go to diamondartclub.com and then type in Paint with Josh at the top, then you're gonna find those Diamond Art Club kits, and they're amazing. I urge you to go over there and get them immediately. Just immediately get over there and check them out. Look at that rock formation. I love it. Goodness gracious. Okay, hit me with your titles, guys. I'm gonna turn the TikTok camera around and we'll see. We'll see. Twilight Radiance. I like those titles, dude. I like those titles. Hidden Cabin. That's a cool one, too. I'm gonna flip this camera. Hello, flip the camera. There we go. There, now we can see, guys. I can see you. You can see the painting. Very cool. Just title it Solstice. Frozen Tranquility. Lavender Ice. That's a cool one, too. All right, I'm gonna pick a title, and then we'll get done with this one and get ready for the next show. So hit me with them now, right? If I see a good one, Cabin in the Woods, Misty Myers. Sounds like Mike Myers' wife. Hi, I'm Misty Myers. Oh, nice to meet you, Mike Myers. Yeah. There we go. Cover over the top. It's nice and dark and blended along the edge. There we go. Right over here. Hit me with those titles, guys. I got a title now. I'm going to be choosing one instantly and writing it down. So, what are we doing? What are we doing now? No Place Like Home. I like that. That was it. It was the first one I saw. No Place Like Home. I like that. That's a good one. Over here, over there. And then I want to thank all you guys watching over on the tube. You guys have been amazing. We're all, what was this on? 7/13/2025. We're all going to go to paintwithjosh.com. Head over there, find my stuff, just like Tim did to get this painting. And it came out quite honestly amazing. Look at the size of the trunk of that tree. It is full Paint with Josh fan brush, bigger than an inch on the size and the trunk of that tree. Literally insane. So, Tim, if you're still watching over on YouTube, I very much thank you. I appreciate you. My air conditioning turns off at 6. It's 6:06 right now. So the AC that is normally blowing directly on me has ceased. And I need to go get it back on as quickly as possible. So, Tim, thank you. I appreciate you for grabbing this painting during the live show. Tim has had a ton of paintings over the years. And it's always great when I see your name come through on an order. So, thank you guys. I appreciate you. You can always send in your versions of this painting tutorial that you have done to either my Facebook, which is @officialpaintwithjosh, or my Instagram, which is paintwithjoshk. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day. And blah, blah, blah. We're going to hit that whole camera and just make it fall over. Goodness gracious.